Alright, so for part 2 we're going to be adding in some dynamic files to the base file. We're going to be making a title and description file, a header file, and then finally a footer file. So not too much going on here, should only take a few minutes or so. Just to recap on where we left off on part 1, we put some HTML inside an index.html file and fired up 11t, created a base file, put it inside an includes folder, and then we moved the context over to the base file and put front matter in the index file. Then we created a styles CSS and passed it through in the .11t.js file. So we have everything set up to start building out the site now. I realized after I finished part 1 that we can easily grab the styles so we can kind of get that look and feel of what the finished version will look like as we're going. I don't want to really worry about styles too much on this tutorial series because it'll just kind of bog us down, and we want to focus on building out the core elements to 11t for the series. So what we can do is I have a link here in part 2 on my blog, and we can copy that and put that in place of where the base file is. Here I'm here in my project folder and opening up source, going into includes, and then the base file, and we can take and replace our previous link. Actually, I did also see that I forgot to put the backslash in here, so if you were having issues that would need a backslash for creating your internal style sheet. But we're going to grab an external style sheet so we can just kind of visualize it, and that will give us some quick styles. Alright, to fire up Node, we just right click on the folder. This is the project folder, and we can type in start a terminal npm start. That'll start us on a local host. Alright, open the link, and so instead of that browser styled stuff, we have our styled h1 in our paragraph, and as we continue along it'll look just like the finished theme that I have online. To get started, we're going to create a title and description file, and we're going to call it title and meta.njk. We'll put that in the includes. Here's the code we're going to be using. We're going to say if tag equals home, and what we'll do is we'll give the homepage index.html a tag, and we'll call it home page. And that's just a naming convention that I've went with that sort of follows along with 11t's naming convention, which uses tags for collections and posts. So I thought it'd be convenient to use tag for pages as we use the if statement to sort of identify where to put the core elements for this style of development. So we'll copy that nunjucks in HTML and go over to our includes folder. This is going to be a build file, so it goes in the includes folder, and we'll save that as title and meta.njk. And once we have that, we can come back to the base file. So what we're going to be doing is pulling the title tag and meta tag here now, and we'll be listing out all of our pages in this one file so we keep them all handy and easy to access in one place, rather than having to, if I'm doing SEO and I need to conveniently change some things throughout my tags, I can do it all in one place rather than having to chase them around in different places, and saves a lot of time there. So what we'll do is we'll replace this title tag here with an include. And if you scroll down, well, first we can do the front matter actually. So we're going to grab the tag convention, and I have that listed here for the front matter for the index file. And we can take out this title here, and we'll just replace it with that tag homepage. And then we can scroll down, and we'll grab the includes nunjucks code here, and we'll replace the base file title. So now that'll include the title and meta file, which will pull the front matter from the index file. Paste that there. Looks like I need to save my index. And there we go. We saw it update. It was broken for a second, and then it updated, and now it's pulling that from that one file. So it's convenient. Looks like we lost our title, but that's okay. Guess we want that for now, but we're going to be replacing that as we go. We'll leave it in there for now, so just for visual purposes, I'll put that back inside the index as we are using that title in the base file h1 here. So got that back there. Alright, so moving down, we should start to see some more styles here come in, and you can get your site running on localhost. So as we're moving through this site, we can work on the header now next. And there it's just putting in header.njk inside of the source folder. Inside the includes folder. So we'll copy this boilerplate code here. And because it is a layout file, it goes inside the includes folder. We'll create a new file, paste that code in, save it as header.njk. And now we'll pull in this header here with another includes. And this is the process. Once you've sort of done this a couple times, it gets a bit familiar. We're basically building out a file, putting in the HTML, including that, and then anytime we need to make it dynamic, we're using this if statement. And there's other ways to write this, but for me this was the most seemed like the most ideal way that's less likely to get deprecated, and it's also readable and familiar to other code that I've used like PHP. So now that we have that includes, we'll go back to the base file and we can replace, we have our header content here now. This is our theme boilerplate content, and we can replace that there. Let's try that again. We can replace the header with the include and should be good to go here. And there we go. We got our header, the drop shadow, and our navigation. So we're moving right along. All right. Next, we're going to be doing the footer. So same thing, we'll create footer njk, and we got a bunch of HTML here, some straightforward simplified base HTML. So we'll go to includes folder, new file, paste that in, save it as footer.njk, and then we'll come back, grab our includes again, and I see I called it header, but that needs to be updated. We'll change that to footer. So I'm going to replace the footer and then call it footer. Okay, that refreshed. And there we go. We got our footers in place. So as you can see, once you start getting in this process, building out becomes pretty easy and straightforward. Here's what our base file now looks like as our dynamic title and meta tags, header and footer. And we have the content as well, content coming from index right here. So we have the full page built out, and we're ready to pretty much move forward with the blog. That's going to be in part 3. Looks like I need to update that to part 3 now, so we're on part 2, and that's about it for part 2.